Darwin published on the origins of species. That was about natural selection and evolution. So the main part of natural selection includes variation, so individuals vary in physical characteristics that can be passed on. Competition for limited resources. Even though individuals produce many offspring, the overall population size stays the same due to limited resources, which creates competition. So members of a population with advantageous traits capture more resources and are more likely to reproduce. Thus, over time, the environment selects for the better adapted traits. So breeding animals with particular traits. Desired traits increase in frequency in the next generation. That is, prehistoric humans noted desirable traits in wolves and selected individuals for breeding. Really occurs. So many different types of evidence support that organisms have a common ancestor. So scientists widely recognize evolution as a core theory in biology due to the overwhelming evidence, and we'll talk about some of that evidence. So fossils are one of the best sources of evidence for evolution. So the remains of species that lived at least 10,000 years ago and up to a billion years ago. So trails, footprints, burrs, worm casts, and preserved droppings. So pieces of bone, impressions of plants in shell, and insects trapped in the tree resin. So most are found embedded in sediment rocks. So as you can see, all of these are basically evidence for evolution. Sedimentation. Erosion of rocks produces an accumulation of particles called sediments. Sediments become a stratum or a layer. Any given stratum is older than the one above, and it's younger than the one immediately below it. So this allows fossils to be dated. Most fossils consist of hard parts such as shells, bones, or teeth, so they're preserved with a process called mineralization. So paleontologists is a scientist who studies fossils. The fossil record is the history of life recorded by fossils. Paleontology is the science of discovering fossils. So prokaryotes are the first signs of life in the fossil record. These were followed by a single-cell eukaryotes and then multicellular eukaryotes. Fish evolved before the terrestrial plants and animals. On land, non-flowering plants preceded the flowering plants. Amphibians preceded the reptiles, including the dinosaurs. Transitional fossils have characteristics of two different groups. They tell us who's related to who and how evolution occurred. For example, Archaeopteryx, so fossils are intermediate to reptiles and birds. The dinosaurs-like skeletons have reptilian features, including jaws with teeth and non-jointed tails, also have feathers and wings. So the fossils show us that whales had terrestrial ancestry. So for example, Ambulocetus natans was the size of a large sea lion with broad and webbed feet, could both walk and swim, have tiny hooves in its toes and the primitive skull and teeth of an early whale. Besides fossils, we also have what we call biographical evidence of evolution. So biography, that's the study of the distribution of plants and animals in different places. There are different plants and animals whenever geography separates continents, islands, or seas. Evolution is influenced by the mix of plants and animals on a particular continent. There's also anatomic evidence of evolution. So vertebrates, forelimbs, have many different functions. For example, they're used to flight, such as birds and bats, swimming, whales and seals, running, horse, etc. All vertebrates, forelimbs, contain the same set of bones organized in similar ways, despite their dissimilar function. Homologous structures are structures that are anatomically similar because they are inherited from a common ancestor. Analogous structures are structures that share the same function but are not constructed similarly, nor that they share the common ancestry. So for example, wings of the birds and insects. So homology, not analogy, means the organisms are related. Vestigial structures are fully developed in one organism but are reduced and may have no function in others. For example, whales have a vestigial pelvic girdle and legs. Their ancestors walk on land, but whales are aquatic now. Humans have a tailbone but no tail. Occurs because organisms inherit their anatomy from ancestors, are traces of an organism's evolutionary history. Vertebrates have a similar embryological development. During development, All vertebrates have a tail and pair of pharyngeal pouches. In fish and amphibians, the pouches develop into functioning gills. In humans, the pouches become the cavity of the middle ear, auditory tube, tonsils, thymus, and peritoneal glands. Biochemical evidence. Almost all living organisms use the same basic molecules, including DNA, ATP, and many enzymes. Organisms use the same DNA triplet code and the same 20 amino acids in their proteins. Humans share many genes with much simpler organisms. For example, cytochrome C is used in the electron transport chain of many organisms. The human cytochrome C DNA sequence differs from my monkey by only 2 amino acids, from my dog by 11 amino acids, and from my geese by 51 amino acids. So the biological classification of humans is an indication of the evolutionary relatedness of humans to other species. For example, the binomial name of the organism gives its genus and species. For example, our species is Homo sapiens. Organisms in the same domain have only general characteristics in common. Those in the same genus have specific characteristics in common.